technical issues here today. And get this, there we go. All right, so this was, can you program your mind for success? My name is Mark Johnson. I think everybody that's on here, I know most of you, so you kind of know who I am, what I'm about. This is based on studies I've done with Bob Proctor, Blair Singer, and many others around how your mind works and how you can make things work better in your life. So I found this little picture and I kind of like it. So what's holding you back? And maybe it really is all in your head. Shows this horse tied to this plastic lawn chair, and most of us know that that horse wanted to, he could pull that lawn chair anywhere. But it's been trained, conditioned to accept that once its rope's tied somewhere, it has to stand there. And many of us have some similar things happening to us. We believe certain things about ourselves because of what we've been taught, what we've been told, especially by others. So I'm going to get into that a little bit for us. So in 1934, Dr. Thurman Fleet, he was very involved with the healing arts, holistic health. He was a chiropractor by training, but he said the mind is an activity, not a thing. No one has ever seen the mind. However, we must have an image or there's no order in the mind. So he created an image and he calls it the stick man. Now, some of you may or may not have seen this before, and it's not, the idea is that it graphically represents what your mind might look like. So we're using the head of the body here as the mind. The mind is really divided into two parts, whether you agree with me or not, but it is, we have a conscious mind, a subconscious mind, and our body. Now our conscious mind, that's where we think, that's how we do our thinking. Subconscious mind, well, that's more what we call our feeling mind. But it's also what houses our paradigms. And you're going to say, Mark, well, what the heck's a paradigm? Paradigm is really just a collection of habits. It's things we were taught to do by our parents, by our teachers, by our coaches, all of that. All these people that are in our lives, how do they do what they do? Now, how many have found themselves or had someone say to them, oh, you're just like your dad, or oh, you're just like your mom? And it kind of pissed you off maybe a little bit, or maybe you went, oh, great, thanks. But that's because we grow up with our parents, and our parents kind of teach us what to think, how to think. Goes on to school, goes on to, if you're on any kind of sports teams growing up, they kind of tell you what you're doing. And you learn those habits. Those habits keep moving forward with you. Now that paradigm lives in your subconscious mind. So it's not something you consciously think about. It's just there. It's that automatic programming. If you think about it, you get up in the morning and you go through a routine, right? Maybe first thing you do is brush your teeth. Maybe the first thing you do is light a cigarette. Maybe the first thing you do is, lean over and kiss your loved one. Whatever it is, you have a routine that runs without you thinking about it. Now our conscious mind, that's our thinking mind. That's the part of our mind where we actually think. So you're sitting here going, well, yeah, I'm thinking, what's he talking about? Well, that's our conscious mind. It's our educated mind. That's where all the training and education we've gathered over the years ends up. It's also where our intellect is. Now our subconscious mind, that's our emotional mind. And this is important because if you think about something that you do and think about when you started to do it, or if you think about a smell sometimes, it triggers something for you. I know for me, every time I smell fresh baked apple pie, I get a flashback to my grandma because she made the best apple pie there was. And that's because we attach emotions to memories. Those emotions also are attached to our paradigms, our programming. Now, with our conscious mind, we get to choose. We get to choose what we're thinking. We get to make decisions. We can accept or reject it. I could tell you the sky is purple. And you're gonna go, yeah, right, Mark, it's not purple. It's, quite obviously, it's not purple. Actually, here in Alberta today, it's a little bit gray. Now you can accept or reject it, and you can originate an idea. So where are you starting with these ideas? Now your subconscious mind is different. Any idea that your conscious mind accepts, your subconscious mind must accept it. It can't reject it. It doesn't have the power to. Only your conscious mind can do that. And it can't tell the difference between what's real or imagined. So Einstein is very famous for saying that, having a great imagination was better than any knowledge, because he could use his imagination to create things. And everything from the chair you're sitting in, the computer you're looking at, started out in someone's imagination. That idea, that imagination in the conscious mind, programmed the subconscious mind to say, oh, I can probably create this. And that's what starts to happen. But these paradigms also live there. Now, there's good paradigms and bad paradigms. Good paradigm causes you to maybe get up and go for a run every morning before you start your day. Maybe it tells you that I only eat fruits and vegetables for breakfast. There are other paradigms that limit us, and that's what we're talking about tonight. Those limiting paradigms that say, you can't do this, you can only do this, you can't get to certain levels, you can't, you can only make this much money. You're not capable of making that much money, right? Who do you think you are? And there's all kinds of voices you can attach to them, because you can remember the person that originally said that to you. Money doesn't grow on trees. So paradigms. It's a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual habits. Now, most of our habit, most of what we do is habitual, right? You do certain things in your life, and it's just a habit. So how do you change those? If you want more of something in your life, how do you change a habit? And that's what we want to talk about tonight, is what is that habit that we're trying to control? And I found this quote from Brian Tracy, and I really liked it. Never say anything about yourself you do not want to come true. So let's back up one. If you look at your habit, what do you tell yourself? What's going on in your mind? Are you saying, oh, of course I can't earn that much money. I don't have enough education. Oh, I can't do that. I don't have the money, right? It takes money to make money. We've all heard that. But all of these sayings that we've heard are someone else's thoughts and ideas that they've put into our heads. So if we want more, we have to learn to change these. And that's why, as Brian Tracy said, don't say to yourself what you don't want to come true. So what do you want to come true in your life? What's the next thing for you? Do you want to build a bigger business? Do you want to grow a business? Do you want to is there some habit that you know is detrimental to you that you want to change? So paradigms. And this picture, the skeptic. We have a lot of people in our lives that are skeptics. You can't do this because, and think about it. Have you ever told someone your dream, your big dream, your wish in life, and they went, what are you talking about? You know nothing about that. You can't do that. Or you've been so programmed that someone can tell you something and the automatic reaction from you is, oh, that can't be true. I've heard about this. That can't be true. Well, if you think back to your grandparents and you told them you were going to walk around with a little thing in your pocket made of metal and plastic, and that little thing was going to give you the ability to reach all the information in the world and be able to call people, people would think you're nuts. No way, your grandparents wouldn't have believed that. And yet here today, we all walk around with a cell phone of some description in our pocket. And if we do a Google search on it, we can find all the information. So And be aware, because we have an inner skeptic. That's the one that lives in our subconscious mind. That's the one that tells us you can't do it. So just be aware of that. That inner skeptic, it's always running. Blair Singer, one of our mentors, he refers to it as the little voice. I've heard it called the inner critic, the monkey mind. But it's that chattering noise that every time you want to do something new, something different, it starts to tell you, oh no, you can't do that. Part of the difference is having a long-term perspective. So when that voice is chattering at you and saying, I can't do this, who are you, you can't do this, blah, 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 you have to be thinking long-term. So not where do I want my life to be tomorrow? Because as we mostly know, if I said, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow, and I didn't buy a lotto ticket, I'm probably not, overnight going to become a multimillionaire. And this is the perspective that we sometimes struggle with. But I can tell you that you've survived every bad day that you've ever had. So that inner critic that tells you you can't do it, or this is the worst day ever, or my life sucks, whatever that program that's running in your head, 100% guaranteed, if you're on this call with me tonight, you have survived every single bad day you have ever had. So that's awesome. Congratulations. You're still here. You're still going forward. So tomorrow, you can start to make changes. Tonight, you can start to make changes. Maybe that change is turn the TV off a half an hour earlier than you normally do, so you get to bed a little bit sooner, and you get a little more sleep, so you're a little more rested, so you can do a little more tomorrow. Maybe a half an hour tonight adds a half an hour on to tomorrow that you can exercise or finish up a project you wanted to work on. And remember, life is good. I'm going to speed through things a little bit more than I had originally planned, but life is good. Life is good for everyone if you choose to accept that. So what can you do to make not just your life, but someone else's life better? Maybe it's just smile at someone. Maybe it's just, hey, thank you. You're awesome. Maybe it's a random act of kindness. The next time you're going through Tim Hortons and you get up to the window to pay for your coffee, your double. Maybe you just say to the clerk, hey, I'm going to pay for the car behind me too. And maybe they ordered a coffee and a sandwich. Big deal. It's a couple of bucks. You just made their day better. And by doing this ripple effect, just a random act of kindness, opening a door for someone, right? It used to be called good manners. Sometimes a little bit lost now, but what else could you do today to make things a little better? Pay it forward. Someone held the door for you, so you hold the door for them. Somebody, like I said, paid for your Starbucks, so you pay for someone else's. And it's just these little things that the human condition, what we are, when you meet somebody and they're smiling, you feel happier yourself, typically. That little act of kindness, whatever it is, hey, that dress looks awesome on you. That, hey, that tie is great with that jacket. Whatever it is, just a compliment, something nice. Somebody did something nice for you, so you do something nice for someone else. There's a whole video I'm sure probably most of you have seen on YouTube, on Facebook, about just how these little random acts of kindness keep paying forward. I know there was one from somebody does something for someone and that causes them to do something else for someone else, and it just makes the day better. So what could you do? What could you do now? What could you do tomorrow? We're just talking about some of the ways you can make life better. So one of the big things, and this comes from a bunch of my mentors, and it's proven, the Dalai Lama talks about it, Mother Teresa, Richard Branson. What can I be grateful for? What can I be grateful for now? What can I be grateful for today? So Maybe it's, well, here, I'm going to be grateful right now. Been talking a bit, so mouth's a little dry. I'm going to have a drink some nice, cool water. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that we live in a country where we have nice, clean, cool water that we can drink. Are we grateful for the wonderful people we have in our lives? There's lots of them, so are we grateful for that? And just start to make a habit. What can I be grateful for right now when you're thinking about something? Maybe that negative thought pops into your head. They say 1 to 3 positive thoughts kind of cancels out that negative. And I look at it more as if I can just flip the switch, if I can just flip from being negative to being positive, right? If something goes wrong, you could say, well, this happened instead, or this is better because. So what happened? What can I be grateful for? What could I do for somebody else? So maybe it's a letter. I know a gentleman that has a program. It's called Send Out Cards. I know some of you have heard of it. And you use it to send a card, just a random card to somebody to say thank you, right? Maybe it's help that elderly person get their groceries from the car to the house, or from the store to the car. Maybe it's, blocking traffic so a dog can get across the road. Maybe, it's just, what can you do for someone else? Just think about it. And if that idea is kind of running through your head, you'll start to find that people are doing things for you as well, right? Because you've raised your vibration, you're operating at a different level. And I know this is true, and there's others on this call that I know it's true. How can you see where everyone should be? If I'm looking at the good side of things, am I going to see more of it? Yes, because we know that if we look at all the bad, we see more of it. So let's focus on the good. And what brings me happiness or joy? So what could I be doing today to bring me more happiness, more joy? Well, on the weekend, we found a really cool spot on a river where, with a tube or even a pool noodle, the kids were using pool noodles, they could jump into the river and float through some little rapids and actually float down the river. And it was a really nice temperature this weekend. It wasn't too deep. Like, if you stood up, you were well out of the water. You didn't have to worry about that. And it was a lot of fun. Built a fire and had a little barbecue, and it was fun. It was happiness. It was joy. Watching all the kids jumping in, right? They were just having a blast. So what else could bring you happiness or joy? And kind of make it a habit. What can I do today? I know some of the people on the call, they do have kids, some don't, but kids can bring you a lot of happiness and joy as long as you focus on what's happy and joyful, not what's going wrong, right? Oh, they spilt their milk. Oh, they colored on the wall. Milk wipes up and walls can be painted. So it's really not a big deal. But what brings you happiness? Maybe it's your pet. Maybe, you're a cat or a dog person. It's just spending some time with your pet, petting them. What makes you feel better, right? Maybe the pet's older and, it's still a joy that they're still in your life. So that said, what else? We have to create a new mindset. If we want new results in our life, that was the whole thing. Can I reprogram my mind for success? I want to have a new mindset to get new results. So what we've been talking about, how do I fix this? How can I change this? And that all goes back to that little stick person, that your thinking mind, your conscious mind, you have to use it to think the positive, think what's good, think what can I do? And I know those of you that stay on to I'll have to email you the link now for the gift that I did promise you at the end of this, but it's what can you do to make your day better every single day? How can I have a better day today than I did yesterday? Now, some of us, I don't know who all on here knows what a Fitbit is, but a Fitbit allows you to track how many steps you're getting and heartbeats and all kinds of things. And for the last few weeks, I've been challenging myself to do a little bit more every day, right? So yesterday I did this many steps. Well, can I get 2 or 3 or 400 more in today than I did yesterday? And if I do that every day, well, all of a sudden I'm getting more and more and more. So I went from probably a month ago, I was doing like 10,000 steps, right? Because that's what they're saying, the base level. Yeah, do 10,000. Oh yeah, I can do 10,000. Then I went, well, can I do 11? Can I do 12? Can I do? So now I'm up where I'm doing, 15,000 steps a day, just because I kept doing a little bit more. So, I didn't go from 10,000 to 15,000 overnight. It was a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And all of a sudden it just gets easier. Well, it's the same when you're trying to change a habit, a paradigm. And this is where people get stuck, is maybe the best word. So maybe their paradigm is they want to release some weight, right? Oh, I got a few extra pounds, I'd like to get rid of it. So they do really well. They've joined a diet. Notice I put the emphasis on diet. And they do it for a little while, but it's really hard because it's so different than what they've been doing, and they quit. Or they get some results and then they quit and they go back to the old habit. Same with smoking. How many people know someone that smoked for years and years and years, and then they try to quit? Well, they get a week into, being a fresh air breather, and they go back to smoking. And because they're like, oh, I had a cigarette, so I might as well. Or, if you're trying to release weight and you decide, oh, I'm going to have dessert tonight, so I'm going to have this piece of chocolate cake. Well, they go, oh, I had that piece of chocolate cake, so I have to quit now. I'm not going to do this diet anymore. I'm not going to try to release the weight anymore. And that's where people trip up. They make that error. If you want that to keep moving forward, you forgive yourself. You say, I will start again tomorrow. I will start again tomorrow. And that's how you start to reprogram. It's a little bit. It's creating that new habit. And now, as Bob Proctor had taught me, there's really only two ways to change that paradigm. One is by having a sudden shock. The other is by constant spaced repetition. And that's what I was just talking about. So every day, I'm going to do a little bit better than I did yesterday. Every day, I'm going to do a little bit better. And you start to build some momentum. And then that little bit becomes a little bit more. So what is it you want to get better at? Right? Is it learning a new language? Is it learning a new computer program? Apparently I gotta go back and learn some more about Webinar Jam. But what can you do? What is that little bit? Because as you start to do these changes, changing the paradigms, right, little bit at a time, you start to build a new mindset. And that's where what I was talking about, what can I do for someone else? What can I do to help someone? What can I do to be kind to someone? Can I reach out to a friend just to say hi? Can I reach out to someone that I maybe hurt in the past and say, I'm sorry, right? And, some people will say, well, I'd never do that. Well, there's a simple method that if it's someone, maybe they've passed on, maybe you just absolutely do not want to ever speak to them again, and that's fine. But if you're carrying that around inside of you, right, that anger, that distrust, that whatever it is, it's like the old Buddha saying, it's like holding a hot coal in your hand with the intention of throwing it at them. You're the only one that gets hurt. So releasing that anger, take a piece of paper and write them a letter. And you can say whatever the heck you want in the letter, just get it out of you. And then take that letter. It's up to you. You can mail it to them if you want. You can fold it up and put it in an envelope and never mail it. My suggestion is if it's not something you want to mail to someone, it doesn't serve anything, take it, crumple it up, go outside your house, take an empty coffee can, or if you got a burn pit, fire pit, something, put it in there and burn it. Let it go. Not in your house, outside, because it's going to put all that energy, it's going to release it out away from you, not going to trap it in your house. And you're going to say, well, that sounds silly, Mark, it doesn't work. Yeah, it does work. A lot of people have tried this. A lot of people know this. A lot of people know this works. So that's another little tip. You want new mindset to get new results? Try this. That will help you move forward. So there's a difference. So this webinar tonight, yeah, it's free, and yeah, there's lots of information like this online. And there's courses. I've got some courses. Other people have courses that you can buy the course, take it home, and learn. And as I know, because of where I've been and some of the things I've done, what I've learned, that if I have someone to help me, someone that's mentored me, someone that already knows how to make these changes, right? And around this mindset thing, this is something I've done a lot of work on myself, because, you know, there was a time in my life when I wasn't the happiest guy. I wasn't the most positive person. But I've worked at it, and I had people like Blair Singer, like Bob Proctor, who've worked with me, and others, to move this forward. So how can I create this? How can I get better? How can I move this along? Well, Zoom is sending me a message here. So with coaching, I've got coaches, I've got several of them still right now. Gives you a chance to brainstorm and get more brilliance. It gives you accountability, right? One gentleman I speak to every Wednesday morning, it's an accountability. How can we be more accountable? Get outside of your comfort zone. We know that the results we get because we're comfortable. This is where we live. This is good. We don't get outside of this. Everything's, you know, kind of happy land, but it's not getting us the success we want. We want more success. We have to move outside of, or we'd already have it, right? If we want success, like, you know, I'll go way out there, Richard Branson. Well, if we were successful, you know, if what we did made us as successful as him, we'd already be there. And then thinking outside of the box. And I know we've all heard this. Oh yeah, think outside of the box, think outside of the box. Well, guess what? You can think outside of the box. You built the damn box. So it's really hard for you to think outside the box. So you need someone else to look outside the box for you, to help you look outside the box, maybe lift you up so you can see outside of the box. That goes to motivation. What gets you motivated? And then get it done faster, right? You want something done, and you sometimes have to learn things on the fly, and maybe you have to ask for help on the fly to figure out things and get it done faster. So what does that look like for you? So tonight I'm having, there we go. So I'm launching what I'm calling Get It Done Coaching. I've only got 10 spots available, launching it right now. Well, launched a week ago. So what do you get? 30-minute get started session. We're gonna figure out what your biggest challenge is, what results you want that you don't have right now, the results that you have that you don't want, because sometimes we gotta get rid of some of those. What's your line in the sand? What's gonna cause you to make that move? And then we're gonna set some actions you're gonna take. And where does that take us? Moving forward, you get unlimited coaching with me for the next year. They're 15-minute sessions, so it's different from everything else I've done. They're only 15 minutes. Focus on you. You're going to have some, what I call own work. So you're going to have certain things you have to get done before you can book the next session, but you're going to get a recording of the session, and you're going to get, you know, that own work. What is it? When you do that, then you can book the next session, and it's requiring you to take action. So who's this not for? This is not, you know, if you just want to complain, whine, and bitch, I can't help you. If you don't want to do any actions, this isn't for you. And people who bounce from one shiny object to the next. So, oh, look at that. I don't know how many of you seen the movie Up, but in it there's the dog, and the dogs are always going squirrel, and they take off after that squirrel. Well, there's a lot of humans like that. So if this sounds like you, this isn't, this get it done is not for you. So who is this for? You want to fix the problems in your life. You're committed to taking action, and you want to get results now. Not in 6 months, not in a year. There's lots of coaching programs out there that people buy, and I'm as guilty as the next person because I've got coaching programs that I've bought that I've never done anything with. And guess what? I got no results from that program. It had nothing to do with the program. It had everything to do with me not taking action, not doing something. So I know what it's like. That's why I'm doing this. This is a great quote from one of my mentors, Robert Kiyosaki. Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. Will Smith did a video here recently, and he was talking about how sitting in an airplane, they're sitting with his friends and they're all out for the evening, and somebody brings up the idea, oh, hey, let's jump out of an airplane. And everybody's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Come on, we're all going to jump. We're all going to go parachuting tomorrow. And they go to bed, and then he wakes up in the morning. He's like, oh my, what the heck did I agree to do? I'm going to do what? I'm going to jump out of an airplane? Oh man, like that's crazy. Why would I do that? And he gets fearful about it, and he's worried, like, what if the parachute doesn't open? What if something goes wrong with the plane? What if, and all the things that could possibly go wrong. And he said that kept going through his head until he got to the door, and they went 3, 2, and push you out the door, because they don't go to 1 because they know you're going to brace yourself. So it's 3, 2, and they push you out the door. And he said, all of a sudden I'm out the door and I'm floating, and I'm like, wow, there's no fear. So he's doing the most dangerous part. He's jumped out of the plane or pushed out of the plane, but there's no fear because the fear's all in his mind building up to it. And that's where fear lives. It lives in the mind. Fear isn't out there walking around on the street right now. So what do you want? What do you want in life? Is that more important than staying where you are? So take action. You want results now? You're willing to make that investment in yourself. You're committed to taking action, and you want to get results now, not 6 months from now, not a year from now. You want results now. Because life's too short to wait for your success. According to Google, there was 150,000 people that aren't with us today that were here yesterday, and it'll be the same tomorrow. So life's short. We think we've got all the time in the world till we don't have any time anymore. I know this. So if you want to take action, if you want to move forward, if you want more success in your life, and that's any kind of success. I'm not talking just monetary success. I'm talking the things that you want. It's essential. It's $997 Canadian dollars for the year. One fee, one time. Get as many calls as you want. The caveat is you can only book another call when you've done the action you agreed to in the last call. So I'm not going to dream up something for you to do. It's whatever you agreed in that call you were going to do. Next action, boom. You proved to me you did it. Great. Let's go. Do another one. Do another one. Do another one. So I will send everybody the link in this because it didn't. Webinar Jam failed me tonight. So I'll send you the link. And there are only 8 spots. When I started this process, I had 10. I've had 2 people buy spots, so I'm down to 8. And that's honest. I was only going to take 10 people into this program. 2 are gone. Now, what I do have for you, for everybody that stayed on, and I know who's on here, the daily gratitude practice. Now, it's something I've created Part of it comes from one of our mentors, Alan C. Walters. Some of it comes from one of my mentors, Blair Singer, and some of it comes from my mentor, Bob Proctor. And I put this together with some descriptions of a daily gratitude practice. So you're gonna say, well, what is that, Mark? That starts with, I do it in the morning and I do some of it in the evening. So in the morning, I write down some things I'm grateful for. I write down at least one person that is doing, has done, or is something for me. So maybe it was my daughter ran up and gave me a hug that morning. And then I write down some goals for today. So what do I want to be today? So I want to be happy today. I want to be productive today. What is that goal for the day? And then something you're happy about. What are you happy about for that day? And then send love to some people that annoy you, some people that, so maybe mine tomorrow morning will be the people that created Webinar Jam, you know, thank you, didn't work. But what it does is it's a process of getting some of that anger, resentment out of you and moving it out there. And then at the end of the day, a few more gratitudes. What else am I grateful for? What happened today that I'm grateful for? How did I make out reaching my goals today? Right? What does that look like for me? And then, you know, that's it. That's the day. But this practice keeps you moving forward. It allows you to become more positive. As you become more positive, you want to take more action. As you take more action, you get more results. More results, you get more of the success that you want in every part of your life. This isn't just, you know, today. This is tomorrow. And like I was saying, long term. Where do you want your life to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? What does that look like for you? Just you, right? What does it look like for your family? Is years ago, before I knew any of this, I wrote down a few things and on a notepad and put it in the console of my truck. And it was probably 2 years later, I was selling that truck, so I'm cleaning it out and I find this notepad and I'm like, holy cow. And I went down the list and there was like 6 things on the list and I checked them all off. So it's not, you know, if I looked at it, you know, 6 months in, I probably would have said, oh, I didn't get any of this. But 2 years later, I had everything, right? I had married my best friend. We had bought a house together. We had horses at our property. I was getting a new truck. That's why I was cleaning the glove box out and found this. But this is, so what, the things that keep coming. So as you practice your gratitude, as you practice the things you're thankful for, as you make plans for your day, this happens. So that's it for tonight. So everybody that's here, I will send you off the